Welcome to the feature match area for round number 15 of GP Stockholm. Luis Salvato and Wojciech Radoš here facing off for what we believe, Rafael Levy, to be a win-in for top 8. A lot riding on the outcome of this match. My name's Riley, as I say, joined by the Hall of Famer Rafael Levy. Raf, Salvato playing for a huge stake here.
When you play Magic at a competitive level, this is what you're living for. You're living for living to play these matches with so much at stake. So like this, nothing less than this.
Yes. This is
nothing more than this. Sorry.
There's a fair bit less in it. There's a lot, not much more than this. However, Salvato right now with a win here, all he needs to do is win this match, and he will equal Seth Manfield as the number one player in the 2017-2018 season.
Basically, he has two shots at winning POY if he wins this match.
Yes, effectively, that's what it is here.
First is a random opponent in the quarters, and then he has the final boss if he loses.
So what's going to happen here? Salvato, right now, on 78 pro points, a quarterfinal appearance will put him up to 81. That will equal Manfield. If he loses in the quarters, there will be a playoff between the two players. If he wins the quarters, he's Player of the Year. Simple as that. But first, he has to get past Radoš here. And in response to the detention sphere here, Radoš is killing off his own devoted druid using its ability to put -1/-1 counters on it. A confusing sequence there, Raf, as we see Eternal Witness bring it back. I guess that's the reason that he ultimately would rather his druid was in the bin.
So not so confusing after all.
Not so confusing after all. Yep, Radoš doing the impossible and making me look foolish. Salvato, however, with a Jace the Mind Sculptor, going to be under a little bit of pressure from the Eternal Witness here, Raf.
But it will survive unless the Eternal Witness gets pumped somehow. Or maybe
Walking Ballista?
Walking Ballista, yeah, for an extra damage.
Could be one way to do it here. Salvato has been on a tear all weekend with his white-blue control list, although couldn't get past Ivan Floch in the last round. The mirror went on for quite a while, but ultimately ended in a 1-1 draw as we approach time. Salvato with a reasonable-looking hand. Tonally Reinforcements. Opt as well up in there.
There's a Terminus. There was a Terminus at some point in
I imagine
Lewis' hand.
Probably on top of the
library.
library.
I guess it's in the top now.
Yep, probably on the top of the library here. And Radoš is going to have to be careful as to what he deploys to the field here, because the chances of the powerful sweeper coming along and ruining his day very, very high, especially when Jace the Mind Sculptor is concerned. The perfect pair. The perfect wine to go with the cheese that is Terminus.
And two opts in Lewis's hand. That gives him a lot of space.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I
wouldn't be surprised if the Terminus was second down from the top here.
It could be on top since Jace is going to survive this turn, and Terminus can go back into the deck anyway. So
Jace loses 2 loyalty to the Eternal Witness. Back to the Devoted Druid. Terminus on the top there, so we did see it there. Salvato did have the option to try to fire it off during his opponent's turn with an opt, but ultimately playing it safe by the water, and away goes the Terminus, and away go those creatures. Another Brainstorm from the Jace here. Looks like Vendilion Click, Ancestral Vision the pickup. Tonally Reinforcements looks to be put back on top of the library. Not going to do much, seeing as Salvato has the same number of creatures and a higher life total than Radoš.
Yeah, this game started really well for Salvato here.
Yep.
Having an active Jace and a Terminus for the first creatures on the Devoted Company side.
It's looking good here for the Argentinian, who again is playing for a big jar of marbles this weekend. Not just the fame and fortune that comes with the GP Top 8, but also a chance, as we say, for that Player of the Year. Been a long time coming. Manfield was sitting pretty for quite a number of weeks and months. Looked like he was going to take it out, but a late surge from Luis Salvato. Reed Duke also made the trip over here to Sweden, but didn't have a great day one. Ultimately didn't make it through to day 2, so Salvato, the lone challenger to Manfield, and now playing a Vendilion Click.
Yeah, this is not a great hand. It's 2 double Call of Calling and 2 lands. So that means that Radoš is going to have to pay 5 to get a creature into play. Even if it's instant speed, that's not too...
It's not too threatening. No, it's really not. And Salvato sees that very clearly, leaves Radoš with the double Call of Calling. And without having shuffled his library, no need to, because he's going to go and search it again for 2. Go and get maybe a Devoted Druid or a Vizier of Remedies perhaps here. It's going to be the Druid. And back now to Salvato, who is firing on all cylinders here. Got an active Planeswalker, Ancestral Vision ticking down. Not to mention that Vendilion Click providing a bit of pressure. But right now it's a Brainstorm with Jace.
Oh, and another Pass to Exile.
Hieroglyphic Illumination. In addition to that timely reinforcements, Salvato hasn't been able to shuffle. Or he's chosen not to. He does have the option of it with a Field of Ruin.
Yeah, I think he's going to Pass to Exile on his turn to make sure the Druid is not used to
convoke,
generate too much mana. The path will net a land, but the Druid can generate 2 mana.
Yep.
And it's also part of the combo, so you're pretty happy to have it gone.
Yep. And that's exactly what's happening here as Radosh has his Devoted Druid exiled with Path to Exile. He will be able to go and get a basic land, but as you say, I think Salvato certainly would prefer a basic forest to a Devoted Druid, especially given that Radosh has the other Court of Calling in hand here.
Does he have a big payoff for Court of Calling? Like, does he have anything else to fetch except for his combo?
Yeah.
And even if he had his combo, I mean, he only has 2 lands and...
Yeah, not much to go.
The court would pick up one of the pieces of the combo.
But a Collected Company off the top here.
Collected Company is what he needed.
That's a better start here for him. He's going to ship it. Now, Salvato will have already, of course, be aware of the fact that a Court of Calling is on the agenda. But this might be the time here for Radosh to fire off the Collected Company while the getting's good. And yes, indeed, we see it here. So, top 6 cards. Let's have a look.
But
We'll put 2 of them into play if they're creatures.
That would be good. Like, Voice of Resurgence would be okay. But he's on 12, so he's on the 2-turn clock here.
Oh, yes, of course, because of the Celestial Colonnade. So, Knight of the Reliquary is there. Wonderfully named card.
Nah.
In addition to that, looks like a Tireless Tracker as well. Not a bad value company, but again, Raph, he's just under that much pressure in the air. So it'll be Tireless Tracker, in addition to Devoted Druid. The rest go below decks.
And then
and now here's the Court of Calling. And that can go and get the Vizier of Remedies.
Yeah, but what for?
But instead it's going to be another Devoted Druid. So now the Hieroglyphic Illumination resolves. We have a Timely Reinforcements, which is now live, at least for the creatures. Put some soldiers into play here.
Like, even if he draws the Vizier, he won't be able to do anything with it. He'll have infinite mana, but nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So he would need to draw another company. Another company would be great.
So Salvato, an embarrassment of riches for him. Look at all those cards in hand. 3 of them opts. Looks like a Path to Exile and a Timely Reinforcements hanging out there as well. So pleased to see Opt getting it done in Modern. Eclipsing Serum Visions in many decks. I was an early adopter of the technology, I have to say. I'm very pleased that it has caught on.
So what do you do here if you are Lewis? Do you Field of Ruins to shuffle these cards away and try to look for something with your opt?
I don't hate that. Get rid of that Overgrown Tomb. Take Radosh off of black mana for what it's worth.
I don't think it's worth much.
No. Black card's probably just Viserys here, yeah. Salvato, he goes for the Field of Ruin, but then thinks better of it. Going to play a land first. Man, there's a lot of opts in hand. So, Timely Reinforcements now. Isn't going to gain him any life, but will gain the soldier. You see Radosh immediately assuming that he gets to gain 6, but no. Not so, Mr. Secretary. Just 3 soldiers. And an attack now for 3 in the air.
Just to make sure he wins next turn.
Because he can attack for the full amount.
Yeah. Next turn he has 7 in the air, plus probably 1 damage with the soldiers.
So Island off the top there for one of the opts, and Salvato ships with opt, Path to Exile in hand. He can cast all of them. And of course, with Crewfix, the draw for Radosh.
That's the typical situation where Corsair is good but not so good, because like now he's giving full information to Lewis. Like he knows exactly what to play around.
Windswept Heaps off the top, going to gain him a life.
If something gets too good, he can just path and shuffle and shuffle the deck.
Yes, in the information wars, it gives Salvato a lot of weapons here. But a terminus off the top here for Salvato is huge. Of course, he loses his own creatures to it, but Radosh is going to be able to get rid of that birds on the top, hope for a better draw after fetching a land, but he loses those 4 creatures in one fell swoop, Raf Levy. Huge draw there for Salvato, and that's the reason that this deck plays 4 of them. It wants them. It wants those Termini.
Yeah, Luis realized that he was not going to be lethal next turn, so he went digging for a Terminus. He didn't know he was there. He had no way to know. He didn't put one back with Jace.
No. Just a blind flip Terminus. Now we do see a clue token, thanks to the tireless tracker there.
So Luis will still have full information.
So Radosh, I mean, not a bad exchange when it comes to that tireless tracker, as he has got those 2 clue tokens, thanks to the fetch land. And gained a little bit of life.
We're going to see the top card.
Another Corsair.
Okay.
And now, nothing left to do, really, than to put all the creatures below the deck. Of course, Radosh can choose to kill the devoted druids. He's going to have a look at his bin here and consider whether he wants to do that. 1 druid already in exile. Yeah, all right. And 1's going to die. 4 mana in pool at the moment. And now the Terminus resolves. So 1 druid in the bin, 1 in the exile zone, 1 in the library. Bit of druid alignment here. 4 mana floating for Radosh. Imagine that's going to be used to crack those clues there, Raf.
So first one is going to draw a Corsair.
Mm-hmm. There's the Corsair Crucifix. And now we're going to see what looks like a... Okay, off the top, that's a Tectonic Edge. Can't play it this turn. So Corsair, once again. Ancestral Vision continues to tick down for Salvato, who looks to be in good shape, especially after that Terminus. Very timely. Another Terminus on top here.
Does Luis know the card Radosh has in hand?
Is it that both Courts of Calling have been cast?
Yeah, does he know it's a land, or does he know the card? Is it something that he drew?
Really not sure. It was that long ago that he
Because in that case, I would have sacrificed the clue before playing Corsair. Because Corsair, you get in a... Like, that was the big thing in Block Constructed, when you had Corsair against Ashiok.
Yeah.
And you would show the top card, and if the Ashiok player was not in any danger, he would not mill. You're like, okay, well, you just draw your card that doesn't do anything, and I get you just time walk every turn, pretty much. And now that's what Luis can do. He sees that the top card is not relevant, and he has the Field of Ruin to shuffle. So basically...
He's got the Jace to Fate Seal as well.
And Jace to Fate Seal. So he knows when to move.
Yeah.
And that leaves Radosh on the... like. Oh.
Okay, all right. Well, the clue token gets sacrificed, and that is a
Duskwatch.
It's a Duskwatch recruiter. Yeah, he really has gone to great pains to ensure that there's no confusion as to what that card, checklist card, is representing. Looks like a letter home from the GDR. And now here is the Duskwatch recruiter.
Yeah.
But it is not very, not enormously powerful here for Radosh, who needs a critical mass of cards for this deck to really do what it does best. We're going to see a Duskwatch activation, Eternal Witness amongst the options for Radosh here.
Yeah, with the Path and the Field of Ruins, like Luis decided not to go for that strategy to just control the top of Radosh library. Instead, he decided to attack.
Just be aggressive. Get in with that Celestial Colonnade, excuse me.
I mean, I don't... Yeah, the... Killing the Corsair was probably not necessary. He would have killed the Jace. Maybe he was to protect the Jace.
Yeah, wanted to keep his Jace around, perhaps.
Okay.
And Tireless Tracker, the pickup for Radosh. Going to immediately play a land. Generate a clue token. But Salvato with an opt now. Doesn't find a Terminus this time. Oh, yes, he does! Scries to the bottom.
It was there.
And the Terminus, thanks to that Jace the Mind Sculptor. And now Ancestral Vision means that Salvato is drawing 4 cards for this turn. He's just going to put him in a big clump in his hand. Active Jace, Colonnade ready to go. Radosh just can't catch a break.
Yeah, so that pass to exile was just... I don't think Luis was in any danger. He felt threatened in any way. He knew there was a Terminus there.
Yeah.
He could have just kept the path, like the...
Didn't need to fire it off, no.
No, he didn't need to play the path.
Well, Salvato now.
There's another
Yeah,
Terminus
floats
there.
another Terminus on top. He's got a Supreme Verdict in hand. He's drawn 7 cards this turn. It's looking pretty good for the Argentinian. Pretty good, Raf. And a Field of Ruin now on that Tectonic Edge. Going to shuffle away
The Terminus.
the Terminus. Doesn't want it, doesn't need it, he says. And Salvato really playing this one masterfully. After a very long weekend as well, 15 rounds. 12 rounds, of course, for Salvato coming off of 3 buys, but playing a very taxing deck. And getting it again with the Celestial Colonnade, looking to wrap it up as early as next turn with Radosh down to 2.
Are you going to be fine with all these 7 cards? Yeah.
Search for Azcanta to round it out. Salvato shields down.
Because why
Oh.
not? Because why not?
Radosh can do anything he wants this turn. Draws, I think that was an Eternal Witness.
Ooh.
Does that change anything?
Can he actually win out of nothing?
Just so Eternal Witness
don't think
back the Duskwatch Recruiter.
No, probably the company.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's a good point. And just have the perfect hits.
But what can you hit?
So Birds of Paradise, the draw.
I mean, your Druid is not haste, so...
No. Eternal Witness to bring back Tech Edge. But that's not enough
No,
because there are
that
2 Colonnades.
Does he have enough mana to activate both? No. Oh, he has a blocker now.
And a Birds of Paradise as well.
He could bounce the birds with Jace.
With Jace, that'd do it actually, yeah, because they're a flying blocker to get in the way of one of the 4/4s here.
Is that a Terminus?
A Terminus? No. It's just Azcanta the Sunken Ruin. Not even bothering to re-sleeve it. He thinks this game's going to be over so quickly. Ghost Quarter off the top.
That's good too.
Ghost Quarter the Tech Edge in response.
Take a mana.
Celestial Colonnade.
Oh, but he had a Field of Ruins as well, so...
So Radosh can go and search for a basic, or is the ability counted?
No, it's...
Okay, no effect. Unsummon the Birds of Paradise.
Right. And then activate... Colonnade and attack.
And Radosh takes a loss on the chin here as Salvato picks up an early win in game number 1. He's a happy chappy about that one, picking up an early game 1 victory.
He's so close. He's so close.
I thought you were saying the game was so close. I was like,
Oh, no, the game was not so close.
The game was not so close. But he
was
is
not so
so close.
He's so close.
1 game win
And yet-
away.
32 minutes. He had 32 minutes to do it.
He's got 32
If
minutes
he
to
draws-
win 1 game of Magic that will put him potentially in a playoff against Seth Manfield for Player of the Year.
I think for now he has 2 shots. I think I'd rather see it like this. Maybe it's not as flashy as he is in the playoffs.
Okay.
But he has 2 shots at Player of the Year.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Like he has 2 matches. He has
we
1 life.
We want full value though. We want the playoff between. We want the huge playoff between Salvato and Manfield.
It's like if he wins his quarterfinals, it's like he took the back door.
Yeah.
I could. It's like a Mario game.
Yeah.
When you could finish the game with all 100 stars.
But instead he went to the warp zone.
But yeah, you warp zone into the finish.
That's right. And Seth Manfield, who's still stuck on level 4-1, can't believe it. But I'll tell you what, this is all academic at this stage because at the moment Salvato still has to win both this round and then win his quarterfinal, which of course is by no means guaranteed. But Seth Manfield, he will be shaking in his boots.
Okay, because now it's not night anymore. Now he has boots on.
While these guys are sideboarding, however, let's have a look at the Day 2 metagame. We can see that white-blue control a very significant proportion, especially in the modern format. Above 10% is quite significant. White-blue control, definitely the deck of the tournament. And it's unsurprising to see that just below it, Bant Spirits has done pretty well as well, given its favourable matchup against white-blue control. Humans continues its onslaught of modern, given that the fact it's just a very, very good deck. I don't like its matchup against Terminus, but still does good work. And Hardened Scales, the talk of the town as the latest affinity list. Been quite a weekend for Grixis Shadow, Burn, and Tron.
Burn?
The usual
Wow,
suspects. And then from there, we've seen Hollow One, Jund, Bridgevine, and company decks, and so on. Infect is one that puzzles me a little bit. This deck is having a little bit of a renaissance, Raph.
Renaissance.
A renaissance.
All right, all right.
It is visiting Florence in the 15th century, making beautiful paintings, developing helicopters, and generally just having a great time.
Ornithopters?
Oh, that's right. Yes, indeed. We can continue down to the other column as we see the sort of the more fringe players all the way down to the 25 one of other there. But as
I
ever,
hope we get to see the other 25.
I mean, we don't, but still, it's good to see that there are all sorts of weird fringe options still getting it done at the top levels of modern play. Blue Moon, a personal favourite of mine, all the way down to Blue Black Mill.
It wasn't a feature match.
Yes.
We were not covering that match. But
No,
it
but
was there.
it was featured during Good Morning Magic. Some of those deck lists will be published throughout the week, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get across them.
Titan Breach.
Titan Breach as
Played
well.
by Julien Steele,
Mm-hmm.
who managed to get his pity point
Mm-hmm.
to make gold this year.
Yep. He managed to steal his way into gold.
He was 9-1, so he had locked gold,
Uh-huh.
and then he lost 3 in a row.
Oh.
It was 10-1 or something.
So whatever.
Yeah.
He's just like, I made gold, I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't care. I'll chuck all my toys out the pram now because I'm done. These players getting ready for game number 2 now. As we said, Luis Salvato is very, very close to forcing at least a playoff between Seth Matfield, maybe taking the lot as he heads towards the top 8 of this event. Radosh is going to have to win 2 on the trot here, Raf, if he wants to prevent that from happening.
If Luis wins, and we don't get to cover the quarters,
Yeah.
oh man,
What's going to happen?
man,
Oh, man.
I wish I was covering the quarters.
We are going to have all hands on deck if Salvato makes it into the quarters, though. I can tell you that. We are going to have every inch of that match covered from every angle, ladies and gentlemen, because this is huge magic. History in the making here. These players putting their final touches on the sideboard. Salvato has kind of blurred the line between main deck and sideboard here, playing a lot of kind of sideboard cards in the main, including cards like Crucible of Worlds, which we saw do so much work in the previous round against Ivan Flock there, Raf. And Negate as well, often we see in the main deck here. Tonal Reinforcement's also a pseudo sideboard card that players are playing main deck as well. And I like all this. All this technology in addition to stuff like Snapcaster Mage, Hieroglyphic Illumination, Jace to power through your deck. Finding one-offs very important. It can be very, very, it can be, game-changing.
This deck is inspired by the legacy Blue-White Miracles.
Yeah, for sure.
That plays so many one-offs. Because back in the days, even with Sensei's Divining Top, you could see so many different cards. And you only need one to make it count. So, for example, in Blue-White Miracles, there were like one-off disenchants. And sometimes it's all you needed to beat one matchup. And
That's just that single copy.
one single copy.
Mm-hmm.
You will see it at some point. And I think that's what that's where its inspiration comes from.
Well, Salvato is certainly all in on the one-of plan here, but a bad news for him as he goes down to 6. An early mulligan in game number 2. We'll see if his second hand is any better. The Argentinian again. I wonder if he's feeling the pressure. I wonder how he's up in that brain. Oh, is this his second mulligan? Oh, no, down to 5. You got to keep it.
I mean, this matchup was so much better for a company where they did not have Terminus. I mean, Voice of Resurgence is just that does nothing anymore.
No.
Sure, it prevents counters, but do you really want counters in this matchup?
No, I mean, when you can cast a Terminus on their turn as well, even though it's been cast on the other turn, it still sweeps away the board and prevents that.
And a token, too.
The
token goes
exactly,
away.
yeah. And there's no last token left because the Resurgence, the Voice doesn't die. So now, Salvato with a Hallowed Fountain to kick things off, and Devoted Druid on the side of Radosh. He'll be happy with that. Spell Snare off the top now for Salvato.
It's also pretty unlikely that Radosh makes it with a draw. Radosh has the worst tiebreakers at X&2, and Luis has the best tiebreakers at X2-1.
He's miles ahead of all the other guys on 34
so
points.
if Radosh draws, he's probably not going to make it. So it's in Radosh's interest to, not draw.
Here's an Oust. Oost. Blowing the head off Ulamog there.
That's all you needed, just a 1-mana spell.
Take care of that Devoted Druid. And now Radosh goes hunting with his Verdant Catacombs. What's he going to find here? Up to 23 after that.
Temple Garden?
Alice gave middle life. And a Temple Garden.
Oh,
Let's bring back down to 20 here. And it's going to be 3 mana for perhaps an Eternal Witness. No, Knight of the Reliquary. Yes, get it done. Old girl, get in there. Already a 3-3.
oh wow.
And Salvato,
That's a pretty good draw.
yep, finds a land. So he can play a Timely Reinforcements here.
No, he found the reinforcement.
So 3 soldier tokens and 6 life. Now Salvato up to 25. Going to be able to hold off that knight for the time being. But look at it go. What a mighty card.
Oh, no, wait.
So Radosh. Sitting behind his
he got the life
3/3 knight.
from the oust.
From the oust, yeah.
Yeah, I was looking for how did he,
How do you get a
that?
20,
How did he
even
get
after
20?
shocking yourself? But look at this, after tapping out, Salvato now facing down a collected company. Let's see what Radosh can find. 6 cards off the top. He gets the pick of the litter here. Noble
Eternal
Hierarch,
Witness, that's
Eternal
pretty good.
Witness. Oh, Eternal Witness to bring back the collected company.
And that's all we got.
Sweet dreams are made of this. Noble Hierarch, Eternal Witness. Bring back that Coco. We might have another hot mug of that next turn, Raph.
Yeah, that was a pretty good sequence from Radosh here.
Collected company in hand as well for Radosh.
Does not want to attack.
So sends it back now to Salvato, who sends it back to Radosh as well. And immediately this Knight of the Reliquary is going to grow and grow here.
For a fetch land.
Yep, this
Probably
is
looking for a plains or
something like a Temple
forest.
Garden.
No, probably just
Basic.
or Temple Garden.
Temple Garden.
All right.
Got there in the end. But that is a pretty classic play there from Knight of the Reliquary. It's able to grow itself by more than one land. Because, of course, it can fetch any land at all. By sacrificing a forest or a plains. Doesn't have to be a basic forest or a plains. Love this card. You know, I tried to make my Twitter handle Knight of the Reliquary, or Knight of the Reliquary,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't fit. You can only have 15 characters.
So what's your Twitter now?
Just Reliquary Tower. Which is great.
It's
It's very good.
a bad card.
I'm very tall, though.
It's
I'm very tall.
It's a very bad card.
Hey, excuse me. Better than Golgari Brownscale, mate.
Oh man, that's the nuts.
In comes Eternal Witness now.
Yeah, but I'm not called Gary Brownscale, so
You do you still have it sticky taped to the back of your
Yeah,
computer?
yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
of course you do. A lot of people, they enjoy putting those cool decals on the back of their MacBook Airs and whatever else. Raphael Levy just has a Golgari Brownscale sticky tape to the back of his laptop there. Salvato unable to find his third or fourth land here.
it's my pet.
Your little pet boy.
My pet. My lizard pet.
And your little lizard. So Radosh here with another collected company by the look of things. Oh no, it's going to be Court of Calling instead here.
And that's my pet lizard.
There's your little pet. It's not little, is it?
What?
But a mana leak now
It's pet lizard.
on the Court of Calling here. And Radosh playing mismatched Court of Calling, but we'll forgive him for it. Looks like he's going to grow this knight even further. Just going to hit the gym. Pound some of that iron. I think that's what you do at the gym. Do you pound iron?
Do what?
Do you pound iron at a gym? You
No,
do something to
you
iron.
push.
You push iron.
Yeah. You lift iron?
You lift it. No, you pump. You pump iron. That's what you do. You pump iron. Yes. You get a bike pump and jam it in there and fill it full of air. As you can tell, I like to get yoked. I'm something of a huge unit, what they might say. I think the last time I went to the gym was actually when I was like 17, so I'm not gonna lay claim to that anymore. Back to Radosh now. Knight of the Reliquary, staggering proportions here for her. See what Radosh wants to do. Devoted Druid in hand and attack with Eternal Witness. Looks like Salvato right now is going to trade off.
No, he's just jumping.
Oh, sorry, jumping because of the Noble
Exalted,
Hierarch.
yep.
Yep, not just a 2-1 there. And a Devoted Druid now is go. Oh, could not snap.
Finally a target.
Couldn't snap off that
Finally a
spell slave
target.
fast enough. And Radosh now with a collected company, seeing as the coast is clear. Let's have a look at the top 6 once again. Rack 'em up, says Radosh. And a Voice of Resurgence collected... Courser of Crewfix, Devoted Druid, and a Birds of Paradise. All options here for Radosh. And he ultimately goes for Courser of Crewfix and Voice of Resurgence, revealing Path to Exile on the top of his deck.
It's Terminus time here. Oh man, what would Salvato do for For Brainstorm. Oh, well, just tap 4 mana.
Yep. Jace the Mind Sculptor comes down. We see the Brainstorm effect immediately. 3 cards off the top. 1 goes back on, and there's another Terminus here. So Salvato
Oh, that's nice.
almost certainly going to sweep the board next turn, and Radosh has to expect that it's coming.
Yeah. So, does he have a Court of Calling in hand? He does not, right?
He does not.
So Gadok would be an out here.
Yep, making it unable to be cast. Even if you only pay 1 mana for it, Gadok Teague tears Terminus apart.
And even the next attack is going to go... It's going to go to Jace.
Yeah. Going to try to contest that Planeswalker. And we're going to see the power of Terminus against Voice of Resurgence, because Voice of Resurgence living up to its name in the wake of something like a Supreme Verdict, keeping the green-white deck on the battlefield in a meaningful way thanks to the token. But no, sir, says Terminus. Denied. Like a basketballman after a layup to the hoop.
Do you have to fetch off Ghost Quarter?
You do not. I mean, you can fail to find. I think you may have to shuffle.
Well, that's the...
Oh, that's... of Tech Edge, do you mean?
No, Tech Edge you don't touch at all.
Yeah, okay, sure.
No, I'm thinking of Maze Search. All right.
Maze Search, so they can
so
choose
it
not
does
to.
not have a way to shuffle Lewis's deck.
And Radosh...
Does he have any way to interact with the order of Lewis library? Like, he does not have a Fill of Ruins.
No, it doesn't look like it here.
Oh, he might. I mean, with Knight of Reliquary.
But he would have gone and got it just then, surely, instead of the Gavany Township.
Well, maybe.
Maybe. Let's see what Radish is up to here. Because Field of Ruin, you have to shuffle.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he wants to do.
That'd be nightmarish for Salvato, as he's put 2 Terminuses. 2 Terminus.
Yes,
he's got a Field of Ruin.
He has a Field of Ruins. That's...
Radosh is going to be able to shuffle away.
That's what I called. Yeah.
He's going to be able to shuffle away both copies of Terminus for Salvato. Disaster for the Argentinian.
Yeah. And also, he's going to destroy the Hallowed Phantom. So Salvato first will not have... No, he will have the planes because he will give it away with Field of Ruins.
He can go and fetch the planes with Field of Ruin.
Yeah.
But this is huge.
I mean, with the Knight of the Reliquary, I would have been surprised if Radosh didn't have a way to shuffle.
Yeah. Wasn't playing all the toolbox lands like Tech Edge, like Ghost Quarter, like Field of Ruin.
And that's huge.
So Field of Ruin goes after the opposing Hallowed Fount. Disaster for Salvato, because even if he didn't want to shuffle his library, he still has to. So may as well get a basic planes while he can. And oh no. Oh, looks like he's going to go for an island instead. I mean, there's still a possibility to blind flip the Terminus off the top. Looks like he might just go for an island, however, yeah. There's a plane's a hard decision here for Salvato.
And now the... Okay, so he went for the planes, all right.
He's gone for the planes here. Radosh. Ultimately forcing the issue there and getting rid of both copies of Terminus at the top there.
You know what's worrying here? Look at the time.
Yeah.
I don't think Luis is winning this game anymore.
And if Radosh wants to win, he's going to have to do it quickly as well. An all-out attack, Salvato blocks where he can. And a Gavany Township activation as well is going to mean that Jace dies and all of those creatures get +1/+1 counters. Back to Salvato. Can he rip another Terminus off the top here? He needs a miracle. Can he find it? One time.
No,
nope. Flooded Strand.
He has one more draw, but he has to make it happen now.
Yeah. In the hand, negate. 2 more cards. Maybe the spell as well.
Yeah, he should not waste any time here.
Yep. Yeah, if he wants to win his second game, he's going to need all the time in the world to do it. I mean, even a premature concession might be on the cards here for the Argentinian.
I mean, he doesn't have to concede now, but since he's going to be dead next turn
sure,
anyway.
I mean, there could be one more. He gets another chance at a Terminus. Second Knight of the Reliquary here. Confirmed Tier 1 card now. Very much the meta Knight of the Reliquary here.
The worst thing for Salvato could be?
Go on.
If he actually draws a Terminus and still loses the game. That would be the worst possible scenario for him.
Yep. Field of Ruin now on the opposing Ghost Quarter. That Ghost Quarter looks to be going after the Gavany Township. We may see an activation in response here.
Does he have the mana for that? Oh, yeah, he does with the Knight.
But no, ultimately just lets it go. Going to go and fetch a basic here. And this is a big attack. Attack for 11 without the Knight of the or 10 for without the Knight of the Reliquary. Don't know how many lands are in the graveyard here for Radosh, but a lot, I would say. It's somewhere between a lot and heaps.
You know what a good play could be here? Luis can actually find a Terminus this turn if he plays Vendilion on himself and draws a Terminus right away. I think that's actually the play.
Well, let's see what he can do here. Salvato needs something. He needs something.
So he gets 2.5 chances to find a Terminus next turn.
Okay.
This turn, next turn.
He's got 4 in his deck.
Yeah.
One would presume.
So he can fetch, play a Vendilion Click. That would give a token to Radosh, but it's pretty much irrelevant. If that's not a top card, then he draws a card. That could be a Terminate. That could be a Terminus or an Opt. And then he gets to...
So, Radosh, a very conservative attack here. Might be playing around Settle the Wreckage.
Yeah. Well, I could see that. I mean,
we know here that
the Knight of the Reliquary is
huge.
That. So I don't think he actually needs to attack with everything.
Okay, because he's not going to do 22 damage here.
Well, the Knight is probably, I don't know, like 9/9 or 10/10. So let's see. Is he targeting himself?
So here's a V-click. And of course, if Salvato draws a Terminus off of the V-click trigger, Radosh doesn't look like he's remembered the Voice of Resurgence here.
Yeah.
Maybe off screen. We'll get confirmation of that, see if he does it or not. And
so
negate goes below decks. Terminus off the top for Salvato.
No, it's not.
No luck. And now an Abrupt Decay, removing the Vendilion Click before block. So Radosh gets across uncontested here.
For a lot of damage.
A lot of damage.
Is that Terminus or Scoop?
Salvato finds an Opt.
That's the 2.5 chances.
That's the half. He's down to one chance.
So that would two chances.
He's on 3. Yes, one of the top 2 cards for Salvato has to be Terminus. Finally, Radosh remembers his trigger here. We get a token, thanks to the Voice of Resurgence. Is the top card a Terminus? It is not. Is the second card a Terminus? Salvato to try to lock up this game. He doesn't have it. We're going to game number 3.
Are you a little excited?
Luis Salvato, unable to find what he needed there, and Radosh running rings around him, ultimately able to piece together a game-winning attack that next turn. Salvato, so close.
Clock is ticking.
So close. The clock is ticking. 12.5 minutes. It is enough. It's enough to get there here. But Salvato cannot waste any time if he wants to find his way into the top 8.
But Radosh can't either. He doesn't want to draw either.
No.
Drawing would just put him out of the top 8.
A draw does neither of these players any good.
It does a lot of bad.
It does a lot of bad and no good.
To both of them.
It's a lose-lose situation.
But it's a win situation for 3 other people. No, for 2 other people.
So it's a lose-lose win-win.
Lose-win-win, yes. It's a win for player number 9, who would be number 8 at this point. Because if they both draw, that frees
up an extra slot.
Yeah. And someone else in the United States.
Yes, a certain Mr. Seth Manfield.
Yeah.
Who is probably watching this one and cheering with all his might.
For the clock.
For the clock, or for Radosh here. Yeah, Seth has 2 horses in this race.
Is it Mr. Clock?
Or Mr. Clock?
Mrs. Clock.
Mr. Clock.
I always thought of a clock as a woman.
Just good at keeping time.
Yeah.
Efficient.
Yeah, Mrs. Clock.
Less sloppy, not burping and farting and picking their nose all over the places. Clocks tend to get things done pretty well.
You say une horloge. It's feminine French.
Oh, that's actually probably a better reason, isn't it? Yeah.
Also in Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, is the clock a...
Yeah, I think it's a...
I've never actually seen the film.
No, same.
I've never seen the film.
No,
so
I've seen the picture.
Exactly right, I've seen the picture. Yep. Yeah, there's the candlestick, the clock, and the teapot. Yeah, they're all animated. Yeah. I'm not sure of their gender identities. That wasn't something I kept a huge eye on as a kid.
Was it a candlestick or just a candle?
I think the candlestick, it was an animated candlestick, but it was a candle as well that was also part of this sort of animated, furniture golem. We move on now to Luis Salvato and Radosh here with 1 game left. Birds of Paradise, the perfect start for Radosh. Salvato fires off an Opt and then lays down a Celestial Colonnade for his second turn.
We've seen Luis win with very little time on the clock, so I trust his ability to get this in time.
And now a tireless tracker, the turn 2 play. Oh, and a terminus off the top for Salvato. That's what he needed last time, but better late than never here for the Argentinian as he tears apart the board of Radosh there. Perfectly timed. Devoted drew the follow-up here, but it's going to eat a spell snare as well. The Argentinian pulls further and further ahead here, hitting his land drops.
A Jace here would have been.
Plenty of options, Cryptic Command and Opt in hand. It looks like a Porphyry Nodes as well. It's all coming up Salvato. Radosh can't find a land here. Cool, calm, collected. The Argentinian doing his very best to ensure that playoff with Manfield at least happens. Maybe rendered irrelevant with a good performance in the top 8. Here's Radosh with a Temple Garden, going to deploy a Mana Dork as well in the form of Birds of Paradise. An Opt. Well, Salvato thinking about this card.
Does he have a 5th land in hand? I think he does. Yep. So Cryptic Command and Porphyry Nodes. Porphyry is actually a stone, right?
Porphyry Nodes, yes. Type of stone used in Byzantine sculpture in the 13th century. Wow. And right now, the nodes are going to start blowing up opposing creatures.
Starting with the Druid.
Starting with the Druid. An easy choice to make here, as it's definitely the most dangerous creature on the battlefield and also happens to have the lowest power as well. So let's see if Radosh can dig his way out of this tricky spot he's in here with 2 mana.
I think the first creature will resolve.
Voice of Resurgence.
The first creature has to resolve because he can... Wow.
No, Salvato going to snap off the Cryptic Command. Away goes Voice of Resurgence.
And he draws. Wow. Because he could be representing like infinite mana this turn.
Instead, it's going to be an Eternal Witness bringing back the Voice of Resurgence there.
And he had Court of Calling or
Vizier.
Yep. He would have gone up that turn. But so it took a lot of
had to fade it there
to counter that Voice of Resurgence.
A lot of guts, yes indeed.
A lot of guts, yes, exactly.
As Teferi, the hero of Dominaria, comes down and followed up immediately by a Vendilion click as well. Let's have a look at what you're working with. And
yep. You can keep it all.
Keep them, mate. Yep, you can keep those. Not a worry at all. Off the top, can Radosh find something? This one slipping further and further away. Active Teferi defended by a Vendilion click. Salvato is tapped out, but immediately the E-Witness goes up against the V-Clickness. And now Voice of Resurgence to follow it up. And a Noble Hierarch. Radosh out of gas here. Away goes the Hierarch. Porphyry Nodes doing work.
Good.
Teferi ticks up. Oust is joined by Supreme Verdict as well. Salvato doing a great job here, going from strength to strength, but it is Jace, the Mind Sculptor, the play here for Salvato. These two best buds getting it done with a brainstorm. They haven't known each other long, but already this has been the beginning of a beautiful friendship between Jace and Teferi.
Yeah, Teferi has been around for much longer than Jace in the multiverse.
In the multiverse, but not on the battlefield here, with the hero of Dominaria redefining modern win conditions.
Yeah, the first appearance of Teferi was not that good.
As the Mage of Zalfir?
No, it was a disruptive student from Urza Saga.
What is he doing?
That's Teferi.
What is that haircut, Teferi? Why is he a 50-year-old bloke still at school?
50? No, he's a small guy.
But why is he bald? He's got a little haircut like he's already got male hair loss balding patterns.
He was a problem student, okay?
Yeah, he was held back for 40 years.
Yeah.
Till his hair started falling out. Poor Teferi. Well, he's come a long way.
He's come a long way.
He's come a long way.
He's a little better now.
Yes.
He used to cast little force spikes.
Yeah.
Now he just dominates modern and standard.
Yes, exactly right. Well, he's very much the JZ of the multiverse. He came from nothing. And now we're on top. Getting it done here. Voice of Resurgence going after Jace the Mind Sculptor. Salvato with nothing to say about that. But a Field of Ruin going after the Overgrown Tomb. Radosh going to get the opportunity to replace it with a basic forest here.
Well, 5 minutes is, I think it's way enough for Luis to close this game.
Yep, Salvato in a great position, a commanding position here. Double Planeswalkers. Porphyry Nodes slowly but surely eating away at Radosh's board here as the Byzantine sculptors continue to mine away at these nodes and these nerds. Both of them. Voice of Resurgence, the only card left on the battlefield here for
that would
Radosh.
keep the nodes around for a little bit. Is that?
Oh, the timely reinforcements. But a Fate Seal now from Jace the Mind Sculptor. That is the mark of a confident man here from Salvato. Plays another Field of Ruin. And he's got options for days now. Might be a timely reinforcements here from Salvato. Yes, the Argentinian generating 3 soldiers.
To keep the nodes around for a little bit more.
Yep, plenty of more stone to be hewn from this particular enchantment. Plenty more honey left in the hive as we untap 2 lands thanks to Teferi. Back to Radosh. Something special needed from him here off the top. What can he find? 4.5 minutes on the clock. Almost certainly enough for the Argentinian to put the final nails in the coffin here. And Luis Salvato forces a playoff with Seth Manfield for Player of the Year by getting himself into the top 8 of GP Stockholm. It is really heating up, Raf. History may be made in a few short minutes at GP Stockholm as Luis Salvato comes from a long way behind in order to challenge the mighty Seth Manfield for the title of Player of the Year. Commiserations to Radosh. We saw a stellar game 2 from him, but ultimately in the best of 3, not enough. And Salvato's mighty white-blue deck more than matched there.
I mean, Salvato is the man with a mission. He was in Argentina, and it was like, okay, I need to top 8 the GP in Stockholm. 1,500 players.
Yep.
Fine, I can top 8.
Easy
this
game.
is easy game.
Easy game.
And then he manages to X2-1. He's not officially top 8 yet, but he's very, very likely with tiebreakers to make top 8.
Overwhelmingly likely into the top 8, which means a tiebreak with Seth Manfield for Player of the Year is guaranteed. And if he makes it into the semis, he'll be Player of the Year in his own right.
Not guaranteed.
No, but at least that's going to happen.
Yeah.
At least that's going to happen. That is the worst case scenario now for Luis Salvato. Anyway, we've got to take a break, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Time Walk Magic before the final top 8 is announced, so stick around because things are really getting hot and heavy here in Stockholm. The format's modern, and of course, we will wrap up Swiss coverage after this. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you back in Stockholm in just a few moments. welcome back to the tournament floor here at GP Stockholm, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Riley, and this is Raf, and we have Time Walk Magic lined up for you. Before we get to that, however, if you've just joined us, welcome. Welcome, by all means, welcome. It's great to have you along. Breaking news is that Luis Salvato has guaranteed himself, at the very least, a playoff for Player of the Year with Seth Manfield. In about half an hour's time, you're going to see Luis Salvato sit down and play as part of the quarterfinals of the top 8 here at GP Stockholm. If he wins that, Raf, he's the Player of the Year. No questions asked. If he gets
no playoff,
nothing doing, Luis Salvato could be the Player of the Year with one more match win. Should he be knocked out, however, in the quarterfinals, there will be a playoff between him and Seth Manfield, as they are both locked at 81 points apiece. And of course, venue, time, format, attire, all of that sort of stuff, TBD. But right now, we've got to figure out exactly what that top 8 is going to look like and check in with some of the people that Salvato may be playing against. And for that reason, it's time to get underway with Time Walk Magic between Jol Larsen and Branko Nairink. We've got the Belgian on the left-hand side of your screen and the hometown hero, Jol Larsen, at 12-1-1 on white-blue control. He was the last remaining undefeated player in the room, was Larsen, at 12-0. And right now, he's looking good to lock up a top 8 finish.
Branko could not draw into top 8. Branko's, I think, his tiebreakers are not very good. And with a draw, he would probably have finished 9th or 10th. So he had to play it out.
Larsen, however, should be good with obviously with a win is straight in. With a draw, reasonable chance. How's he looking with a loss?
I think he wins. He's in it with a loss. He was second coming into this round. So,
okay. So looking good here for the Swede, who again, just up the road here in Stockholm. It's been beautiful to visit the city. It's a really very wonderful city to hang out in.
It is, except for the wind. The cold wind.
The wind isn't too great, but the building's beautiful. Streets are clean, and the people very friendly indeed. Nairink is going to commit a Vendilion click after a slower start for both players. Ancestral Vision played by Larsen, and Nairink, without too much doing with his Jeskai list. We haven't seen a lot of Jeskai, although in this matchup, I think it favours the deck splashing red just because of its ability to be proactive.
Does it?
I think so. Lightning Bolt, Lightning Helix can go at the dome. Snapcaster Mage can pile on a huge amount of damage very quickly.
I'm not so sure about that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, you can Bolt, Teferi, or Jace. Or against Jeskai, you're not going to brainstorm the first time.
No, but just send him upstairs, dude.
Yeah, that's a lot of cards.
Just
deal
bolt,
damage.
Just bolt the face.
That
Snapcaster,
means
bolt the face. Bolt you, Helix you, Electrolyze you.
I actually think White-Blue has a better matchup.
Do you really think so?
Yeah.
So I think the complete opposite.
Yeah.
I think Jeskai's in a much better position about it.
All right.
We will see, Raf Levy. We will see here with the Path to Exile removing the Vendilion click. Nairink fetches out a free basic here. But still, Nairink's going to have a look at Larsen's hand, which looks pretty well set up to tussle and hustle and bustle against the Belgian here. Dispel.
In Brussels.
If only.
Yeah.
If only, Raf. That would have been the perfect draw. I could have retired from Magic Broadcasting if that were the case. But it looks like Dispel was the pick there for Nairink, and Larsen draws an extra card now, thanks to the V-Click. Field of Ruin going after the Colonnade here. Nairink floats a mana. Both players going to go and fetch out a basic. And you can see that Larsen is not mucking around with his post-board plan to disrupt the opponent, who may also be playing control. He's got Dispel, he's got Negate, double Spell Queller as well, in addition to stuff like V-Click and Baneslayer to put an extra clock on any opposing white-blue control decks. Opt sends a card below deck here for Nairink, who again sacrifices many other powerhouses in order to play things like Lightning Bolt and Lightning Helix. Larsen.
So you just said it. He sacrificed powerhouses to play Bolt and Helix.
That's true, but I mean,
you'd rather be on the powerhouse side.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I think it's not as clear as that. I think Jeskai Control in the abstract is the worst deck, but I think in this matchup it has the edge. Bouncing now a Celestial Colonnade with a Cryptic Command here.
Your favorite play.
It is indeed. Well, I don't like it when it's going against a Colonnade. I'd rather bounce a non-blue, non-white land. But yep, Larsen happy to let that happen. And he ships back to Nayrink now, who finds another land off the top. Back to Larson, who is going to target himself with this Ancestral Vision, you would think. That's going to prompt a response from Nayrink, almost certainly. But I think Larson's got the technology to defend his vision here, negate the first play for Nayrink. Beautiful art from Rivals of Ixalan there. But with Cryptic, Logic Knot, and Dispel in hand, Larson can pick his pipe when it comes to defending this vision. What's the response here, Raf?
Dispel is the cheapest way to do it. He can do Dispel and Cryptic Command on the same turn. He can do Dispel and Negate, but then the mana is not optimized. Or we can just say, okay.
He's just going to let it get countered. Doesn't want to fight over it. Finds a Serum Visions off the top. Larson has that Celestial Colonnade that was bounced last turn, so he's definitely going to hit his land drop. There it is. Ooh, thinks about it. Is there any reason not to play the land?
No, he can play the Serum Vision, then play an untapped land.
Ah, I see.
So he has Dispel and Cryptic Command up.
Draws a card.
Another Dispel.
And Scrying
And a
2.
Teferi. I think these two cards are good.
Both very good indeed here for Larson. Maybe he would have liked to draw them.
Well, he will eventually.
And
if
now,
there's no Field of Ruins.
after drawing an island off these Serum Visions, he's going to play the Celestial Colonnade. And Nayrink goes a-hunting with his Scalding Tarn. Finds a Steam Vents. And also, just for good measure, chucks a card on the floor. Wearing shorts as well, which seems like a huge misplay. It was in about 17 degrees outside today and very windy. Then again, I have a very bad matchup against cold weather, so I tend to overcompensate for that matchup.
You know what they say here? They say in Swedish, in the text, det finns inga
What does that mean? Wear
dåliga väder. Finns bara dåliga kläder.
So that means wear T-shirts and shorts whenever possible?
No, there is no bad weather.
Yeah.
There's only bad clothes.
Okay. And weather rhymes with clothing there, I assume.
Weather, kläder and
Kläder,
väder.
Yeah, I'm not surprised there. A characteristically optimistic approach to keeping yourself warm in this frozen hellhole of a country. I love everything about Sweden except for the price of hamburgers and the cold weather. Ancestral Vision now for Branko Nayrink. Back to Larson, who finds a Teferi off the top, as we saw. And plenty of counter magic for him to defend this Teferi, should he so choose. I like Larson's hand. I like the way it's set up to interact on the stack here.
There's a lot of counter spells in UL's hand.
And double Teferi as well. But he's going to ship here.
What are you waiting for? Maybe another land?
Playing it slow. Secure the waste in hand from Nayrink. Just picks up an Opt as well. Still got a Cryptic and a Logic Knot. Might have two Logic Knots as well.
He might be waiting for a Vendilion Clique as well.
Snapcaster Mage from the hand of Larson. What can he flash back here?
Serum Visions?
Okay.
Trying to find another land?
Is this in the... I thought he shipped a turn to Branko. He can't flash back the Serum.
Yeah, I think it's his turn.
Oh, it's still his turn. Okay, all right. I got the impression he passed the turn, but obviously hasn't done that. So, Scry 2 finds an Opt and a Field of Ruin.
And he drew one land.
So, Island in hand here for Larson. Bit of Beethoven on the table for us to enjoy here from the Swede, as he considers what he wants to do with these cards that he's scrying with. Opt goes on top. Field of Ruin goes on the bottom. Island, go. Opt now for Nayrink. The Belgian has a look and likes what he sees. Flooded Strand activation as well here for the Belgian. He goes and gets a Hallowed Fountain here.
I mean, if you had to choose which cards you wanted in your hand, I think you would probably have UF's hand.
Yeah, just infinite counter magic.
And the Teferi just to...
huge threats. Snapcaster provides a little bit of a clock here as Nayrink goes down to 16. First blood drawn by Larson here. And now, we'll see what his next move is here with an opt, Raf.
Yeah, he's going to draw the land. Oh, well, that's not the one I expected, but...
Oh, finds a surgical extraction. If he goes after that cryptic command, that's going to be devastating. But Nairink also has a fair bit of counter magic of his own. Lightning bolt off the top here for Nairink. That can go straight at the face.
Well, nice.
Put you to 16.
Yeah, that's...
Taste it, Mr. Larson.
That's... You don't want these kind of cards in this matchup. Like, see? Like, drawing a lightning bolt is pretty much drawing a...
Lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not that good.
No, I think the time has passed for Nairink to take a more aggressive posture here. Although with that, secure the wastes.
Yeah, they're going to fight over secure the waste, but Bolt in that case is not doing much.
No. Here's surgical extraction though, Raf. Let's have a look at what Larson's going to go after with this. Is it going to be cryptic?
Branko has Snapcaster Mage, so he can...
just counter it by casting the cryptic.
Yeah. But then that would make him tap out.
Yeah.
And that could actually be fine.
Nairink has a cryptic in hand. We don't know what the target is. But it looks like Nairink is going to respond with a cryptic command. And this could provoke a big fight here between these two players, as both of them have got plenty of ways to contest the stack. And Larson kicking things up with a free spell is in a good position here. Dispel, target your cryptic command. See how long Nairink wants this fight to go on. He's also incentivized to burn through Larson's counter magic. So an interesting dance between these two players here. Larson still has several Teferis that he could deploy. He's in a gate now to try to defend this cryptic command.
That's end of turn, right? He let it resolve.
And now back to Nairink drawing a card from the cryptic. And a lightning bolt on the Snapcaster Mage to remove even this very small clock.
Oh, that was Yua's end of turn.
Beginning of Yol's main phase. And so now cryptic command on the Ancestral Vision. Let's see what Nairink wants to do. It looks like we're going to see a Logic Knot here. Larson can answer with a Logic Knot of his own, and I think has a Negate in hand as well. Got a lot of cards. Another Dispel, even better. So Logic Knot, X equals 5. Larson unable to pay, of course. And so now we'll have to see what the Swede wants to do about it. He has a Logic Knot of his own, and we're going to see that one cast. Going to be cast for X equals, well, about 100 million by the look of things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Has to equal 9. Can he even cast it for that amount?
Yeah, that's what I was checking.
He may not be able to here.
Oh.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to take a quick break here from the audio because the top 8 announcement is underway. You may be able to hear at the back. We'll be back in just a few seconds. Visuals will continue. So with the top 8 announcement in the books, ladies and gentlemen, we are back now on this Time Walk match between Branko Nairink and Yol Larson. Of course, we muted the mics to prevent the result of this match being spoiled by the announcement itself. So we do thank you for your patience. And now, As we can see, the dust has cleared. Larson tapped out. And Nairink with a Snapcaster Mage online. Nairink plays a Search for Azcanta here. And it's back to Larson, who is going to have an opportunity now to get his Teferi online. Teferi goes upstairs, drawing a card. Untap 2 lands as well here, Raf. And back to Nairink.
With a Field of Ruins, flipping the Search for Azcanta is not going to do too much. And that's exactly what Branko realized.
So as a result, just keeps it around as Snapcaster Mage goes after Teferi, the hero of Dominaria. Let's see what Larson has to say about that one.
It's a pretty good draw. Branko drew a Field of Ruins of his own. So he can go for the Field of Ruin, for Yuel's Field of Ruin, and then flip his Search for Azcanta. Oh, he had one already? Oh, he just played it. Sorry,
He's got one on the battlefield in any case.
Okay, so he can do it anytime he wants then.
Now with 6 mana, 8 mana, we're going to see a massive, excuse me, we're going to see a massive Secure the Wastes here.
No, that's the one he drew. He just played it.
So Secure the Wastes for 7.
For mucho.
For a lot, yes. And Larson with the opportunity to respond, of course. And we may see a Vendilion click in response. Yes, indeed. See if that one resolves. Nairink, of course, with the opportunity to counter it himself, although with Opt and Ancestral Vision in hand. What's that third card there? Is that a Disdainful Stroke?
I think it's Snapcaster Mage.
It'd be a Snip Snap. Yep, good eyes. The Eagle Eyes of Raphael Levy missing nothing here. Going to flash back a Logic Knot. Try to tie Larson up here. Logic Knot 3, of course.
Is Yuel going to draw a Terminus this turn?
So, Vendilion Click does not resolve. Secure the Wastes does. Nairink with 7 1/1s. Still yet to represent themselves physically. Another card here for Larson. Finds a Jace TMS. He's got another Teferi in hand, but needs an answer to all of these 1/1s. Oh, it looks like we're going to get busy with Celestial Colonnade here. Here are the Warrior tokens. one of them at least. Flying the flag proudly for their brethren. And now, Jace the Mind Sculptor Brainstorm.
Baneslayer Angel.
Negate Island, the other draws here. 2 lands go back on top here for the Swede. And he does have the mana to play old Baneslayer here.
That will be able to protect the Planeswalkers.
And rounding things out with a, excuse me, with a Flooded Strand. Untapping the Field of Ruin here. Still contesting that Search for Azcanta. Should it flip? Larson not missing a trick. Nairink, quick flick through the Exile Zone as he tries to puzzle out what his next step is. Certainly dominating the creature side of things in terms of volume, but not in terms of power, Raph.
I think Branko should take care of the Field of Ruins before Search for Azcanta is flipped. Maybe he just wants to scry every turn. He values that more.
Celestial Colonnade put in the bin there thanks to the Search for Azcanta. Larson helpfully moving the lands southwards so we can see exactly what's going on for Nairink. Cheers, Yuel. And an Opt for Nairink. Draws him a card.
So everything's going to go to... I can send all the soldiers to 7. So he needs to send 4 soldiers to Jace. There would be 3 left if he sent 3 and 2 Snapcaster Mages. Well, that should be good. That should be enough to kill both Planeswalkers and only lose 1 Snapcaster Mage. He can also try to send one of his Colonnades.
Nayrink, considering the attack here. Double snip snap. Septuple warrior. And so it looks like the Snapcaster Mages going after the Planeswalkers, one each.
So it's 3 and 4, it's the same thing.
And 3 and 4, as you can see, Nayrink there. Larson lines up the blocks with the Baneslayer. Going to gain a bunch of life, but lose both Planeswalkers now to the onslaught from Nayrink. Larson up to 22. Suspend the Ancestral Vision for Nayrink. And back now to Larson, who is going to fetch with the Flooded Strand. I wonder how many lands he's got left to search for here. Basic plains you see there. There's an island as well. That's the one that Larson's going to go for. And we may see an activation of the Field of Ruin, although he wants to hold that one perhaps for an Azcanta.
I don't know about that, like, not activating the Field of Ruins on his turn.
Yeah.
To flip the Azcanta. Sometimes I understand why you don't want to flip it, but now it gives you such an edge. Especially if...
Even just one activation.
You're playing burn, like some burn spells. If you don't rely on them to kill a Baneslayer Angel, that's... And they're not, you see this... I think he has enough cards to flip it. That's not the issue. He exiled some of them with Logic Knot.
No, I think he's still got 7 though, as you say.
Huh?
I think he still has enough, as you say.
Yeah.
So Nayrink, still with an overwhelming surplus of creatures here. Untaps. No, we're still in are we still in Nayrink's end step here?
I think so.
I think so. Nayrink may be considering still doing something before his turn ends. And might be a Field of Ruin activation here. And he's going to be, he's going to target Yol's Field of Ruin. Larson goes a hunting, finds that island. And that's the price that Larson paid there for fetching a Hallowed Fountain, whilst out on his own Field of Ruin activation. Larson obviously considered the need for extra white mana to be too high.
Like a Lyra here would be very good.
Unfortunately, Larson has chose not to play the Double Angel in his...
oh no, he doesn't have it?
No, he played Porphyry Nodes instead. No, excuse me, he didn't play Porphyry Nodes. He was tossing up between those two cards as he headed into the GP, but ended up playing neither. Here's Teferi now for Larson. In hand, looks like Negate, Celestial Colonnade, and an Ancestral Vision here. We'll see what Larson wants to do with their cards in hand. He can, of course, try to defend his Teferi. Nayrink may be going after another Logic Knot, by the way. He's mucking around with his graveyard. I don't know what the card in hand is. Is it Cryptic? What's he got? It's a Logic Knot. Logic Knot.
Logic Knot Electrolyze. That's Branko's hand.
So Logic Knot for 6 here would be the only number that makes sense. And now Teferi and Baneslayer, the big threats that Larson wants to try to defend. Negate in hand here for the Swede if he wants to fire it off in response to that Logic Knot. Nayrink certainly taking his time in casting this spell, my goodness. So there is finally the Logic Knot. Larson with the least optimal version of Negate in hand, but it still does the job no matter what.
This one's from?
It's from Cans of Tarkia. And it's a real Dudsky, I'll tell you that. Larson's going to let it resolve. Goes after Nayrink with the Baneslayer. Looks like he's happy enough to race here. Up to 26. Nayrink down to 8. Well within range of a one-shot with Baneslayer and Celestial Colonnade. And now suspending Ancestral Vision, playing Colonnade of his own. Larson with a Negate. Nayrink. Electrolyze you, my friend, he says. Draw a card. What a powerful play that was there. I've already nailed my colours to the mast, Raf. I'm going to have to stick with it. So a new card off of the Electrolyze here. Nayrink checks in with the top of his library thanks to search for Azcanta, and now it's going to flip.
There's a lot of flyers. How many lands does...
And a bolt as well here for Nayrink, and you're not impressed, Raf?
No, he could have, like... That bolt and Electrolyze could have gone to the Baneslayer Angel.
Mm.
And then he could have blocked the Colonnade with his own Colonnade, so... But Ewell is holding a Negate, right?
Yep, Teferi is
Yeah.
going to eat up that negate straight away here from Larson. And Nayrink left with a lonely lightning bolt in hand.
He has 11 lands, I think. So he's one short of activating both of them. 5 and...
So a land off the top would do it here for Larson.
Well, now he doesn't need it because the Baneslayer Angel is going to make it.
So Baneslayer comes across. He can block with his own colonnade there, Nayrink. And Teferi is not going to live to see the rest of this, even this turn here.
No, he needs to find a path to exile. Oh, he actually can't.
Nope. Snapcaster Mage gets in with the Warriors here.
He doesn't have the mana to activate Search and activate the blocker if you will draw the land.
And now Larson in what may be the last turn of the game here. And indeed the match off the top. Didn't get a good look at what that was. But here,
Is it
Larson
Jace?
can...
Oh, it's a
plays a
Jace.
Jace the Mind Sculptor. Can still activate his colonnade and get in. Baneslayer Angel doing work here for Larson. In response to the brainstorm here, Lightning Bolt on the Jace. Spell Queller. Path to Exile. That's going to do it here, Raf.
Yeah, Path to Exile can remove a blocker.
Path to Exile prevents the Celestial Colonnade from blocking on behalf of Branko Nayrink. He's going to activate it all the same, but he's not going to get to move to blocks. And Joel Larson sailing through the air. A 13-1-1 victory for the Swede on home soil.
And that's a draw.
And that is the draw between the two players with 15 seconds left on the match clock, ladies and gentlemen. A draw at the death between the Belgian and the Swede. And the top 8 of GP Stockholm is the only thing we have left to announce. Raphael Levy, would you like to please
Have it. Sure.
do the honors?
In first place with 40 points, Yari Wrench.
We've seen him on coverage. Congratulations to him.
Storm.
A great performance.
And second place with 39 points, Andrei Strasky.
The retired Magic Pro now
Retired,
officially
yeah.
has updated his Twitter bio to read unretired.
And retired.
Yep.
And he's on... Is he on the Spirit Company?
On Band Spirits? I think so.
Yeah.
He's made gold as well, so congratulations, Stracco. Well done indeed, mate.
In
You
third,
should retire
sorry.
more often. Go on, sorry.
That's usually when you win.
Yeah.
All right. In third place, Elias Clocker.
Mm-hmm.
In fourth place, Rasmus Enegren.
Mm-hmm.
In fifth place, Joel Larsen.
Joel Larson made it across the line.
In sixth place, Oliver Moon. In seventh place, Luis Salvato.
Yep, we'll see him in the quarters.
In eighth place, Branko Nayrink. So
Just falling across the line there at the death with that draw with Joel Larson.
and the unlucky ninth is Ivan Flo.
Oh, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, except for the time that he won a Pro Tour. He did pretty well then. My friends, those are our quarterfinalists. That is how our top 8 looks, and the quarterfinals are coming your way in a few short moments. We're going to take a break, get things set up, and we will be back with Sunday Night Magic featuring the potential player of the year, Luis Salvato. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be back after this.
Check out Booster Draft Leagues on Magic Online.